Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Hedera and Hbar, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. I do feel the need to address real quick before we do continue to this video that I am recording this ahead of time, so prices are subject to change, but today we're going to be talking about why I do believe that Hedera could possibly be bigger than Bitcoin and Ethereum going forward. Now, obviously, yes, that is a broad statement, and it is a little bit of a speculative statement, but I'm going to be talking to you guys about specific use cases, but also, what Hedera has been basically building for the last couple years now. I want to really kind of remind you guys that, Hbar is still pretty new. It came out roughly in 2019, August of 2019 to be specific. So we are coming up on our 3-year within this market, and I do think that in the 3 years that Hedera has been here, they have accomplished quite a bit, and they have been building out some solid groundbreaking use cases. And honestly, when we talk about the 3rd generation crypto technology, I do believe that Hashgraph does hold a pretty significant state in this market, especially even going forward in terms of like scalability options, sustainability as well. Honestly, Hbar as a token itself, I do believe is a solid long-term hold, and I do think that even in the short term, we will see value derived from this token as well. So let's actually talk about why, let's talk about a few things, and ultimately, let's talk about the broad market of crypto. So first off, talking about the entire market of crypto, I did tweet out this earlier today, and I said, funny how individuals calculate their investment's potential on market cap alone. Large percentages of the people in this space fail to see the long-term impact crypto will have on everyday life. 1 trillion, 10 trillion, 100 trillion, it will all happen eventually. This asset class grows daily. And basically what I mean by this, right, is that when we talk about what, these assets are focused on, specifically tokenized money, right? We talk about tokenized money in such a broad aspect that we don't really kind of, pinpoint the fundamentals of how much money it actually is in terms of tokenization. $5 trillion a day is settled on the SWIFT network. That is extremely inefficient. Settled in 3 to 5 business days. We do see transactional fees of $30 to $100 plus, and there's a massive failure rate as well. When we talk about something like SWIFT, it is extremely inefficient to the point where we are seeing digital assets essentially take the spotlight. Now, when we talk about how large this market essentially will, balloon to, I've always said that we could be seeing crypto at $100 trillion plus valuation for the global crypto market cap by 2030. And I do believe that that is a pretty significant time frame, and I do believe that it is a significant amount of money, but I do also believe that the potential and the power behind a lot of these major use cases are unlocking groundbreaking opportunities and potential for many companies and use cases alike. Now, I also did tweet out saying, will Hbar really be bigger than Bitcoin and Ethereum? I will be breaking down the possibilities of Hashgraph technology in a video tonight. The 50 billion supply is 100% necessary, especially with the future demand of the network, and the overall potential for Hedera/Hbar is endless. Now, again, when we take a look at things happening around, Hedera and, specifically around this market, we do look at sustainability as a major key aspect. Yesterday, I made a video on Neuron. In fact, Neuron did respond to that, tweet that was below this tweet that I tweeted out about Neuron, and they said, basically it's Helium network on steroids. Buy a sensor, install it, get paid. First application will track all aircraft, including ADS-B sensors. And we do see down here which countries are able to participate. We plan to be borderless, but some areas will, with high activity, will be more profitable than others. Register on the website to be one of the first to hear when we go live. Now, if you do live in a city or so, this is going to be actually pretty significant. But a lot of people are talking a little bit about this and discussing it. But in my opinion, when we talk about Neuron, the reason why I've always said that Neuron is such a significant use case is because of the demand around this. And by the way, here you guys have it via their website. I guess you can sign up and see it. Incentivization and rewards by just basically installing this device in your house as a sensor, and it will pretty much pick up, aircraft and things like that around you, and pretty much guide their drones and stuff that they do plan on basically building out. But I want to talk to you guys about Neuron specifically just by the, transactional flow here. And I'm not going to take too much time, but basically they were saying each drone flight would have roughly about 1 million data points. If that is the case, they have 2.7 billion. Basically, these drones are going to have basically 2.7 billion of them. And when we talk about the transactional flow from this, I actually want to take a look at this real quick, which I do have it open over here. 2.7 billion drone flights estimated in 2026. Now, obviously, yes, this is 4 years away, but there would be roughly about 1 million data points set in stone by just one drone flight alone, which is a massive amount of transactional volume. I mean, if you look at this, this is over like 200 trillion transactions, if you think about just like drone flights in general. So when we talk about the demand that there would be for the Hedera network around a use case like this, it is significant. Now, of course, those transactions will actually boost the price of Hbar and push it in market capitalization by having each transaction generate a transactional fee, which is, of course, this fractionalized one here. And like I said, I told you guys that when we look at, the transactional volume that we have currently, it's really kind of nothing in retrospect to this fee base. That's why when we talk about something like having, like, we'll just say like 200 trillion transactions, right? That would be significant because that would be $20 billion. And then, like I said, a use case like Neuron would actually boost the transactional demand to trillions and trillions and trillions, to possibly even quadrillions of transactions on the Hedera network, which would amount to a large amount of money being transacted over the Hedera network. Now, also, we did see here, Hbar dominates top projects by energy use per transaction. 885 plus kilowatts an hour Bitcoin, 102 kilowatts an hour Ethereum, and then, of course, fractionalized kilowatts an hour on Hedera. Again, sustainability-wise, Hedera is outpacing the game. When we talk about use cases, it will eventually get to the point where it is outpacing the game, but right now, Hedera is a little bit away from becoming, again, the third generation crypto technology. We still need a lot more use cases to go live. But of course, we have been continuously seeing major updates being pushed by Hedera. The Hbar Foundation actually just tweeted out today, we're excited to announce our latest partnership with 1 to 11, enabling them in their vision to create the world's largest sustainable play-to-earn gaming ecosystem. 1 to 11 already has 2.2 million plus users within 18 months of its launch and is building 4 new P2E games on the Hedera network, leveraging the combination of speed, security, and efficiency only made possible by the hash graph. The future of gaming is being built on Hedera. If you want to join us in the building the future, we offer the financial, business, marketing, and technical support you need to scale. I think that when we talk about the gaming scene around Hedera, this is going to continue to spark up. So far, from the Hbar Foundation, $202 million has been allocated, and there has been 71 grants given. Of course, a few of these grants have moved over to Ethereum, which is surprising, but a large amount of them are also building still on Hedera and launching on Hedera. You guys can see all of the use cases here. A few significant ones that I've talked to you guys about are, like, for an example, Hashport. I just talked to you guys about 1 to 11 just now. Zeus Market, Seeki, Stater, Drop is pretty significant. DLA Piper with Toko. Toko's huge. I talked to you guys about tokenization as well. There's so many great use cases being built out here, and I definitely do believe that we should be focused on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is basically this ecosystem is going to continue to build out. I think that we're still very early within this. I mean, you look at ecosystems like Chainlink that have like 1,300 plus projects under their belt, or even Algorand. You look at even Zilliqa. We are still very early in what Hedera is basically building, and I do believe that this is going to really kind of push us well beyond the competition eventually. I just want to see a lot more of these use cases, going live, but do I believe that this will outpace Bitcoin and Ethereum eventually? Yes, I do believe it will, because of course, when you look at the use cases being built out on Hedera, there's a ton of them. For an example, healthcare. We've talked about the healthcare use cases multiple times, but I do think that I want to bring it up yet again because I think that this is an area that DLTs and even NFTs could truly disrupt the game fully. A lot of the healthcare, markets right now in terms of like networks, they do have a lot of inefficiencies built around them, not only from an interoperability standpoint, but also from data itself. Data is hard to transact currently without it being tokenized. Tokenizing data within the healthcare scene truly unlocks massive doors. But also, Hedera has some pretty significant use cases already built in place around this. For example, like storage of vaccines and things like that, and also even track and trace. They are doing some pretty significant use cases in this specific market. But also, Enterprise. So we do see Hedera for the enterprise. Hedera enables disparate businesses or business units and participants to create a real-time view of application events across a number of use cases without the need for centralized operators or complex permissions. And of course, we do see down here, Hedera is owned and governed by the world's leading organizations. Here you have all of those organizations, and again, you see exactly why they're basically building for the enterprise use case. We do see asset tokenization, which also we do have tokenization over here. We'll talk about that here in a second. Track and trace, fraud mitigation, ERP, CRM, and EAM, and then of course identity and authentication, permission blockchain as well. Like I said, when we talk about things happening around the specific market, I do believe that Hedera is, a great choice for enterprise grade use cases. We also, invest into Casper and things like that as well. I think that waging our bets on, multiple networks just to kind of succeed is totally fine. I think that, having diversification is, key to success. I'm not going to say like Hedera is going to be the only winner here. No. But I do believe that Hedera does have the potential and the power to actually usurp Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance. And I do believe that at some point in time, we will see that truly unlocked. I think that there's a lot of individuals within this space that also see what Hedera is basically building. Yes, it's taking a little bit longer than expected, but as we do see more and more things being announced, like for example, native staking, and of course, these major funds that are going to work. I mean, we are seeing major partnerships being announced and building, happening on Hedera. I think that this is great, especially for the retail demand and also just the market demand. And of course, last but not least, tokenization. So I've talked to you guys about tokenization, and let's actually go back to this initial tweet here. So talking about 1 trillion, 10 trillion, and 100 trillion. Yeah, we will get there. And I do believe that tokenization is going to take us there faster than expected. When we look at a lot of the markets that are basically being tokenized, again, the number one market that I've always talked about is real estate. I think that when we look at tokenization, I think that everybody really kind of looks at like payments. I think that tokenizing payments is great, but I actually look at even bigger options here, and that is of course real estate, $300+ trillion. I think that tokenizing payments is great, but it's going to take time to get to that point. Real estate and things that could have fractionalized ownership could be tokenized right now. There's not going to be a major regulatory barrier behind it. I think that regulations could be ushered in pretty quickly for something like that. And this will actually lead to tokenized securities and things like that as well, where we could see possibly tokenized stock markets as well. I think that the door for tokenization is pretty large once unlocked. And I think that this is actually going to bring in a ton of capital as well. And I look forward to seeing tokenization basically becoming a spotlighted asset class as well within crypto. I know that we have a ton of categories. I do think that tokenization is actually going to be a main category similar to like DeFi. We always see DeFi being talked about quite a bit, but I don't believe that a lot of individuals are actually seeing, the overall use case value behind tokenization and the potential behind tokenization as well. But in my opinion, if I had to, really kind of say, hey, is Hedera going to be the next major generational crypto technology? In my opinion, I do believe that they are here to stay. I think that they are going to most likely usurp a ton of dominance away from Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if we could continue to see development and projects going live, for the most part, like we have over 5 pages of use cases here, and a ton of them are doing great, especially in the areas that they are in. I've always talked to you guys a little bit about like the energy markets that they are in as well, like through power transition and stuff with the microgrid. Honestly, the use cases that are on Hedera, if we could see them go live and if we could see a little bit more information being pushed around them in terms of marketing, I don't believe that Hedera would have a problem with price. I think that we need a little bit more marketing because although there's a ton of individuals talking, there's a ton of chatter on Twitter, we don't have the true marketing tactics that other assets have in this market, which I totally get it. You don't want to hype the substance, or you don't want to hype the project without, a ton of substance, because a lot of these use cases are not, live just yet. But there is a ton of use cases within a lot of these areas. And I think that as we do kind of still see this ecosystem continuing to bloom a little bit, we will see, the power truly recognized behind Hedera. I just think that we need a little bit more market demand and network demand to truly push some significant numbers, and we need a lot more transactional per second demand use cases going live in order for the price of Hbar, not Hedera itself, but Hbar the token to really kind of see some significant heights. And of course, yes, will we move with the market? Will we have bull markets and altcoin basically runs, aka alt seasons? Yes, we will. But once we usher into a utility-driven market, I think that that's where Hedera will truly shine. And I think that Hedera is, significantly outpacing a lot of the competition in this market. I just don't believe that we are seeing that because, of course, like I said, lack of marketing and also lack of truly live projects that are demanding a ton of transactional demand around Hedera. Yes, we hit over roughly 4 billion transactions, but when you actually calculate that with the fee, it's not a significant amount of money. It's like over $200,000, which that is not going to move Hbar's, price significantly anytime soon. So, if I had to say, is Hedera the third generation? Is it going to be larger than Bitcoin and Ethereum? Long term, 100% in my opinion, I do believe that it will. I just think that's going to take time. And, right now, I would argue that we're actually a little bit too early. But of course, that's never a bad thing. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.